You know, picking a cloud computing model is one of the biggest tech decisions any business can make. So today, we're going to break down the three main types. That's public, private, and hybrid to help you figure out the smartest choice for your company.
So you're looking at this choice, and it probably seems like a purely technical thing, right? Some IT decision. But it's actually way bigger than that. It's a fundamental business decision that's going to impact everything from your budget to how fast you can innovate.
And the stakes here are incredibly high. Seriously, making the wrong call isn't just a small mistake. We're talking about potentially wasting thousands of dollars. Or, even worse, landing in some serious hot water over security and compliance failures.
And if you want to get a sense of just how massive this is, take a look at this number from Gartner. The world is on track to spend over $723 billion on public cloud services by 2025. This isn't some niche tech thing anymore. This is the engine that powers modern business.
Okay, so before we dive into the different types, let's just make sure we're on the same page about what cloud computing even is. At its heart, it's all about getting your computing services, like servers, storage, whatever you need, over the internet, whenever you need them. It's kind of like a utility. And the real magic is you only pay for what you actually use.
All right, first up, the public cloud. And probably the best way to get your head around this is to think of it like renting an apartment in a huge building. It's super flexible, it's cost-effective, and hey, someone else handles all the maintenance. So what that means technically is that the actual physical infrastructure is owned by a huge provider. You know the names: Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. You're basically sharing that infrastructure with their other customers. Now, don't worry, your data is kept totally separate and secure, but you are sharing the underlying hardware.
And this is where you get the classic trade-off. The pros are massive. Almost zero upfront cost, you can scale up or down in an instant, and you don't have to worry about maintenance. But on the flip side, you have less control. And if you have really sensitive data, meeting strict compliance rules can get tricky. And if you want a killer example of this power in action, look no further than Netflix. They don't own a global network of data centers. They use AWS to serve over 260 million subscribers. They can instantly scale up their resources every single evening when we all log on to binge watch, and then scale it all back down when we go to bed. That level of flexibility is it's almost impossible to build yourself.
Okay, so now let's flip the script and look at the complete opposite approach. If the public cloud is like a flexible apartment, then the private cloud is like owning your very own custom-built, super secure house.
Here's the deal with a private cloud. The whole setup, everything is dedicated to just your organization, nobody else. You get absolute control over every single thing: the hardware, the security rules, exactly where your data is stored. It is not shared, period.
So the advantages are pretty obvious, right? You get security that's second to none and total control, which is perfect if you're in an industry with tough regulations. But, and this is a big but, the downsides are also pretty huge. We're talking a major upfront investment, and your team is on the hook for all the maintenance.
And for a real-world example, you can't get much better than this. A massive bank like JP Chase has to put security and compliance above everything else. They've poured billions into building out a private cloud so they have total, uncompromising control over sensitive financial data. They can make sure they meet every single regulation out there.
Okay, so you see the split, right? On one side, you've got the public cloud with its amazing scalability and low upfront cost. On the other, you have the private cloud with its ironclad control and security. But what happens if your business kind of needs a little bit of both?
And that, my friends, brings us to our third option, the hybrid cloud, the one that tries to give you the best of both worlds.
Now, a hybrid cloud isn't just, using both separately. The key here is that it's an integrated environment. It connects your private setup with public cloud services, letting you move your apps and data between them super easily, depending on what you need at that moment.
So the number one advantage here is, you guessed it, flexibility. You can keep your super sensitive stuff locked down in your private cloud, but then use the massive power of the public cloud for everything else. But all that flexibility, it comes with a price. It's way more complex to manage, and if you don't set it up right, it can actually create new security headaches.
American Airlines is a fantastic example of how this works in the real world. Think about it. They keep all their sensitive stuff, like customer data and flight operations, safe and sound in their private cloud. But their website and booking system, that runs on the public cloud, so it can instantly scale up to handle the crazy traffic spikes during holiday booking seasons. It's a really smart strategy.
All right, we've covered the what. Now for the really important part. How do you actually pick one? Let's walk through a quick and easy framework to help you make that call.
So this table here is a super handy way to see everything side by side. You can see right away how each model stacks up when it comes to the big things: cost, scalability, control, and security. Generally, public is awesome for startups. Private is a must for regulated industries, and hybrid is perfect for those big companies with a mix of needs.
So really, it all boils down to asking yourself 4 crucial questions. First off, how serious are your security and compliance needs? Second, what does your budget look like? Third, are your day-to-day operations pretty predictable, or do you have wild spikes in demand? And finally, where do you see your business in 5 years? Your answers to these questions are going to point you straight to the right model.
And that really brings us to the final takeaway here. Choosing a cloud model isn't something you do once and then forget about. Your business is always changing, and your needs are going to change right along with it. So the real question isn't just which cloud is right for me today. It's, is my strategy ready for whatever comes next?